1 year ago, I started a brand new free-to-play account and this was my squad. Fast forward 12 months and it's looking quite different now. And it's not just me, you guys have posted in my Discord showing your insane progress too. So today, I want to answer the question, how much progress can a free-to-play account make on eFootball in 1 year? So looking at the team today, the first thing you'll notice is the tactic, and if you've watched my channel, you'll know this is the tactic I also use on my main pay-to-win account. So what this tells me about these players here and the type of players you can get on eFootball for free is that they are good enough to compete in divisions and also good enough to play the type of football you want to play, and you don't have to fit your tactic around the players you have. Rather, you're given enough players to build the tactic you want to play. And if we look at the bench, there's actually some OG cards in here. There's Maradona, you got your Beckenbauer, there's a few new cards like this Rice just came out, this Kimmich just came out, and of course Nakata, who's very good by the way. The only reason he's on the bench is because he has super sub. I definitely think he's actually better than Rivaldo, so if he didn't have super sub he'd probably be starting. And then there's actually two players here that were in my day one team, and they are of course Pedri and Santos Neymar, and actually Beckenbauer there. But to be honest, I don't really use Beckenbauer as much anymore. It's really only because I got Cannavaro and Tony Adams in the last like 2 or 3 weeks on this account, but maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, Beckenbauer definitely would have been still in the team. But yeah, this is day one of when I started the account and started playing on it, and you can actually see like the crux of the team is still there because I've still got that Beckenbauer. I think that Pavard is still very good. I still use a Musiala. I use a player of the week version, but very similar level to that. And of course, to this day, Neymar and Pedri are still in there. And this Pedri is just a versatility pick because he can play left mid and center mid, and he can attack and defend, and he has super sub. That's why he's on the bench. And then I actually still get a few questions asking, is this Neymar still good? And of course he is. Like, look at those stats: 91 finishing, 87 curl. His dribbling stats, like the actual dribbling stat itself, is 98, so that's very, very high. So he's very fast on the ball. But the ball control and tight possession are a little bit low. But to be honest, this guy is fake. Like, this guy does not dribble with those stats. This guy definitely plays above his stats. And then when we look at the physicals, he's got great speed, great acceleration, amazing balance, and his kicking power isn't even too bad. Like, for instance, this Salah, another top tier card for me anyway on the free to play account, he doesn't have great kicking power. This Neymar actually has better. But of course, I started this account as a summer series last year, so not only are we going to be able to compare from today to a year ago, we're also going to be able to compare from the start of the account to 2 months after. So this video was uploaded on the 29th of May. And then this one here was uploaded on the 20th of July. And this is the shape that the team started to take. And again, one thing I can see straight away is we're actually playing a 3 at the back now. So we have a little bit more room to pick our tactic. But you can see it isn't exactly what I want because we only have one striker up front. And of course that striker is Romario. We'll get to how we got him in a sec. But the other options aren't too great in Suarez and Okafor, and then Neymar. Obviously, I just said he's a good striker, but he is a deep line forward. So usually when you use a deep line forward, you have to build the whole tactic around them. So that's why I opted for the one up front, and then it means I push the left mid and right mid up to left wing and right wing. But I actually got Romario in a 100 coin spin. Very lucky. I wouldn't recommend trying to recreate it because chances are you're just going to waste your coins. But if you do want to risk it, make sure in the top right there you have 1,500 coins left in your account, because if you remember, they released a Copa America Messi and the Euros Griezmann. They cost 1,500 coins. So on this free-to-play account, I'm always making sure I have 1,500 coins just in case they ever release a pack like that again. And with eFootball 26 right around the corner, they might actually do something like that. Now again, if we look at the team from the 20th of July last year, there's even more players that are still in the team. So we still have Romario, of course. I don't think that's much surprise that he's still here, but even this Nico Williams is still here. I wouldn't put De Bruyne in like my best team here, but I still use De Bruyne sometimes. Mbappe on a free-to-play account is probably the most valuable player because he can play your center forward, your second striker, your left wing, right wing, left mid, and right mid. And I have a video on this tactic if you want to know how it works. But one aspect of it is that one winger is your more attacking option, like Vinicius, and then one is more your defensive option, like Cafu I have here. But the great thing about Mbappe is you can actually use him as both, because of course we know how good he is going forward, but he has got a lot of speed and he's actually not too short, so he can actually cover a lot of ground very quickly and defend in the midfield area. But yeah, it is interesting to see the amount of players from back then that we still have, because we still have this Messi. By the way, I love this Messi. Look at those stats. If you just ignore the strength stats on the right there, those attack stats kind of look like a pay-to-win card in my eyes. If we scroll through the video, you can see I actually picked up a Yamal here. And to this day, if I want to use Yamal, I actually still use this version. You know, 150 games played with him there. He's really good, and I actually made a dedicated video on this Yamal. Actually, it was GP Yamal, basically the same version as this. And then in this video again, they had a player at the season Italian league pack, and I tried my luck on this, and I still use a few of those players. So look, we've got Çalhanoğlu here, great orchestrator, amazing stats. To be honest, David Beckham is a little bit better. This David Beckham is probably my favorite player on this account, but I was using Çalhanoğlu up till very recently. They released Abbiati and a few different keepers recently. I got Abbiati, luckily. They also have Diogo Costa, but if those guys didn't come out, I would still be using Provedel here. This guy was like the best keeper I'd used on the free-to-play account for such a long time, and he's arguably just as good as Abbiati. But the thing is, Abbiati of course has a permanent B form, and I think that rings true for a lot of these players. Like, a lot of the non-legend players are just as good. For instance, I just got this Van Dijk last week, but he's not in the team at the moment because we already have legends in there like Tony Adams on the B form. But if Liverpool win in the Premier League and Van Dijk goes to A form, he'll definitely come in ahead of the legends. But just to circle back to why do I have 2,500 coins on the account, I think it's because on a free-to-play account, Konami don't really offer too much options, and it kind of goes to show through the fact that, you know, the players I have from playing the game a year ago and getting them within 1 or 2 months of playing the game, the fact that they're still on my team a year later kind of goes to show that Konami don't offer very much in terms of value. So if we order by most recent signings, have a look here. Which of these players did I actually spend coins on? All of these, of course, were free. You might think Van Dijk because he was player of the week, but no, I got him through completing the offline challenge events, and then you get a free player of the week spin through that. Cannavaro, no, we got Puyol, unluckily, from the pack with Rooney and Blitzkrieg or Bale. Adams would be the daily penalty game. Baya, we got from some pack, I can't remember exactly where, another player of the week from that spin. So we're just gonna have to keep scrolling here until we get down to, gonna have to scroll down to Match Pass Tchouaméni, who came out 9 months ago, so the 9th of November. And then before that, it would have been Fernando Torres, who came out on the 26th of September. So look, of course, it's my judgment on what players are worth the coins, but that shows me that Konami haven't released any player worth the coins on a free-to-play account since Match Pass Tchouaméni, and then before that, it was Torres. Before that, it would have been Pires. And then by that point, we're at the start of the account again. Like, this is when the account started. So to me, it goes to show that Konami just hate free-to-play players, and they don't let free-to-play players actually get anything worthwhile. You have to spend money, and then the amount of money you have to spend is a crazy amount. But maybe it's just because I don't like gambling on packs. If I open a pack, it's because I know I can clear the pack and guarantee myself the player. So we're gonna go to Discord now and look at your guys' team, because based on some of the players I've seen, you guys definitely like to take the risk. So a couple weeks ago, I asked in my Discord for you guys to post your teams, try get a photo from a year ago, and then a photo from today. Here's just another screenshot of a slightly different date of a year ago, but you can see the crux of the team is still there. I actually don't have Kante in my team today, but he probably should be there. Like, I have Beckham for orchestrator, I probably should have Kante for box to box. So this player of the week, Kante, is still very good. And of course, I don't have to Showtime Kante from the penalty game. If I did, he'd definitely be there. And then I had the Nielsen in here, but I decided to take him out. I definitely don't think he's too good. Well, here's Ainz' team. Now he's a 5 at the bag rat, unfortunately. We can see he's gotten lucky on a couple players. So he has Pedri, Insigne, and Van Basten. So he would have got lucky on... Actually, I could have picked up Van Basten in the guaranteed pack, but he would have got lucky on Pedri and Insigne. And then if we look at his bench, he has Stefano Fiore, which means he spun for that Bale pack when he came out and he risked his coins. I would argue my team's better than this, and it's probably because he risked his coins on Fiore, so he missed out on like that anchor man Tchouaméni. And I don't know his coin balance, but I would assume I have a bigger coin balance at the moment, so if they release a very good value pack, I could get it. But on the other hand, imagine that wasn't Stefano Fiore and it was actually Bale who came out, then I think you would have to tip the scales back in his direction. Here's another team from Cool. I assume Cool started playing like right at this time as well, because he's got a GP card in there, but it is Lucas Hernandez, and Lucas Hernandez is a interesting GP card to pick, because you definitely have to know who's very OP in this game to just arrive on him as your free-to-play card. He has that Halloween Delict, who used to be the best centre-back at this game. Unfortunately, we don't do a free-to-play card being the best player anymore. It's always a pay-to-win card nowadays. And then that Guardiola is insane too. And then fast forward to today, I think it's interesting he doesn't have the Match Pass Tchouaméni in there. He has a GP one. He must have just not been on when the Match Pass Tchouaméni came out, or maybe he had risked his coins on a pack and didn't have the coins to go for the Match Pass. And then I would actually argue, if this guy didn't get lucky with Jonathan Tah, I think that Guardiola would still fit into this team and it wouldn't really be a worse team for it. But look, this guy's got Koundé as well, and he knows what's up. I have Lilian Thuram on my main account. I swear down, this Koundé is like almost as good as to ram. So whether you're a free-to-play player or you're a pay-to-win player, try get your hands on a Koundé card that's a defensive fullback, and he is absolutely amazing. I don't know why I pronounced absolutely like that. Lozek is a mobile player, and of course he has Batistuta. I do think centre forward is probably the strongest place in people's teams at the moment, because we had the option picking between Batistuta and Michael Owen. For instance, I uploaded this video here playing with Ronaldo, and a lot of 12-year-olds were very unhappy with this video because I called my GOAT Pendu. He is my GOAT. I don't know why they're mad at me, but one reason I wouldn't recommend going for this card necessarily is just because I think he's very similar ability wise to Batistuta. I went for him just because, you know, I love Ronaldo. I want the Ronaldo card. So if that's the case, go ahead. But if you're talking purely on ability, and this goes for pretty much any centre forward now, you should already have Batistuta or Michael Owen at minimum. And if you don't have them, it's because you surely have a better striker, because you should have picked those two or one of those two. So over the next month or two, strikers, when they sell them in packs, are going to have to be really, really strong, because value for coins, what we have, is probably going to be a better deal. Here's Hot T's team. I actually think this is a very smart team. The only player in there I don't really like is Gerrard, but you can see his bench. He has Showtime Kante. So I don't know why he has Gerrard in there. Maybe he does prefer Gerrard, but if you just put Kante in for Gerrard, I would look at this team and go, this is probably one of the best free-to-play teams I can imagine. Like, personally, I would go for Nakata for Kaka and then an orchestrator and left centre mid, but that's just the way I play. Maybe Hot T kind of plays a little bit more direct. He doesn't need the orchestrator, but for sure a very strong team. He's got all the right type of players. He's got Courtois on goal, just a big unit in there. He's got Kante on the bench, of course. He has that match pass Tchouaméni. Maybe he prefers Rodri. That Rodri could be an orchestrator, to be honest, but he's got his Mbappe on the bench and he's got his Bellingham on the bench. So definitely a very strong team from Hot T there. And that's the thing about the free-to-play teams. I don't think you have to be too lucky. Like, if we're actually looking at his team here, he doesn't have any players from luck, unless you argue Kante from the penalty box, but you can kind of complete it and guarantee it. Like, it's not about luck, it's about not wasting coins on stupid players and knowing which players are the most effective in the game. Like, I'm sure he might think that maybe that Bellingham is actually better than Kaka, but he just wants to use Kaka, and same with Kante and Gerrard. Maybe he just wants to use Gerrard, but he's definitely got a very strong team there. Here is a 3-5-2 from Nadir. I wonder on mobile, is 3-5-2 the same? Anyone who's played both on mobile and console, like, do you have to kind of change your tactics when you play? Because he's definitely changed, and to be honest, I'd argue like this team here isn't much better than before. If we're talking about free-to-play cards, like, of course he has Maldini, probably the best centre-back in the game. He's got a good Torres, like a double booster Irwin, but I would say these are wasted coins, really. Like, he's trying to play in the strategy of, let me open packs and see if I got lucky, and of course he did for Maldini, but did he really get lucky with Dennis Irwin and with Fernando Torres? I'm not sure. Like, I don't see a lot of progress on this team, and of course, like, this team has Maldini, but I would actually argue, for instance, Hot T's team is a lot more well-rounded. Not trying to diss you, Nadir, but I'm just trying to comment on the kind of spinning for packs. Like, of course you got Luku and Maldini. Here's Nez. Now, Nez plays on a pay-to-win account, so he also has a free-to-play account on the side, like myself. He got lucky with Pedri, and I think that'd be the only player here. But that's actually something I wanted to say, actually, to kind of give Nadir some credit. Nez is similar here, doesn't really waste his coins. He's kind of just seeing what players he can actually get for free, and he's kind of build his coins. Whereas if this is Nadir's only account, can you really blame him for risking his coins? Like, I haven't spent coins since Tchouaméni and then Torres on the free-to-play account, but I have the pay-to-win accounts to try new players, and then also I have other people's accounts. They let me play on their accounts to try new players. Like, the whole idea of an Ultimate Team game mode is to try new players and build your squad. So Konami have completely failed at that, in my opinion, because I haven't felt any need to upgrade my team. But if I only had my free play account, maybe I'd be risking my coins a little bit more, just to have something interesting happen in the game. So if you're someone who does risk your coins, I don't blame you, although I would make sure you just risk them in the right times. And again, what I said earlier, try keep 1,500 coins just in case they ever release those packs again, or like a modern day equivalent. I don't have this centre-back De Jong on my free-to-play account, but I do have him on my main account, and he actually still gets into my main account team sometimes. And it kind of goes to show like how good Player of the Week cards used to be. I think we discussed this somewhere here. Yeah, Player of the Weeks are the biggest scam. No one even looks at Player of the Week anymore. Like, I don't look at Player of the Week anymore. And the reason I built up a little bit of coins is because it's never worth actually using your coins for Player of the Week. Here's Dimitri, and again, he's got that 1,500 coin Griezmann, and he's still in the team to this day. Sorry, he's got the pictures reversed. So this is last year. with Griezmann up front and then Griezmann in AMF this year. So if they release a 1500 coin pack again like Griezmann or Copa America Messi, I think it's safe to say they'll be in your team for a long time. This is definitely not paid to win, or sorry, rather free to play. And he wants to post muscles in the free to play team chat. Very cool. This is the first guy who picked Babito, and Babito is very good in this game. Honestly, just like Romario, I'm pretty sure when that Babito came out and I reviewed him, I said that back then, that he's just like Romario, but a very good team. He has Jack Wilshere. I wish I had Wilshere on my free to play account because I have him on my main account and I love him on there. Again, another match pass Shumeni here. I actually got this Lavia myself. I didn't like him that much. I thought he was going to be the new match pass Shumeni. I didn't think he was that great. And then Romeo has a very nice squad, full Champions League cards. That looked cool. I don't know how good it is in game, but it definitely looks cool. And then Luzion, whose gameplay I did an analysis on. Look at how his team's progressed. So he's got, I think that's the same Mbappe I have. So yeah, I was rocking that Mbappe last year and today, and Luzion still has him on the bench. And then he's got this team with Thuram, Cannavaro, Hazard, and 12,000 coins saved up. I don't know who he's gonna go for. Luzion, if you're watching this video, let me know kind of who you're saving those coins for. Maybe like a Rooney card or something. Maybe you're a Man United fan, I don't know. But that is an insane team for a free-to-play account. I would look at that and I would think, to be honest, I would think free-to-play just because if it was pay to win, I think you would also have Maldini and you would also have whoever was in that Hazard pack. But that is not like a free-to-play level team. That is definitely like a pay-to-win level team in my eyes. So let me know what you guys think. If you weren't in the Discord and you want to post your team, join the server and post it. It's discord.gg/rockchalk. And also, do you agree with me that like they don't offer enough for free-to-play players? Because it is kind of crazy. Like, I would be willing to part with my coins. Like, I want to review cards, but Konami don't seem interested. They ain't seem interested in the credit card, not the free card. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye.